Sketching helps you problem solve. It puts your thoughts on paper so that you can explore them and show them to other people. Sketching I found very helpful for my current 3D motion design. I think it's helpful whether if you're a 2D or 3D artist. It helps you think through problems visually and also express yourself. Whether if you're sketching for work or for fun, Sketchbook Pro is a great tool. It works on both your computer, it works on a tablet, and we're exploring the tools in greater depth now. We did a quick overview, but now we're going to really jump into the selection tools and how they can help your workflow. Let me know what kinds of things you like to draw and what you're working on. You can see that I have the sketch here to use as an example of a skydiver falling with some little gremlins around him. I feel like jumping into any art or design business often feels like you're just jumping out of a plane into the unknown with a parachute, basically. And I felt that way many times throughout my career, so I felt like sketching it. And I love what I do. It's always worth it, but it's always a little bit nerve-wracking to do what you love. Sometimes it can feel a little bit risky. So here I have my background layer. And you can kind of see how I build this up with several layers. I have a soft glow and all kinds of things in here to build this up. I'm going to be editing this layer here since this feels like the base for that sky. And we're going to be walking through these selection tools here. So you have your classic rectangle selection, you have your circular selection, lasso selection, polyline selection, and magic wand. Now these over here are pretty useful. You can use this, the replace, which is what we have selected now. You can tell by this blue line under it. And we can add selections and remove selections. So let's talk a little bit about what all of these do here, because I can feel a little bit abstract. So let's talk about the rectangle selection first. Start off with something pretty basic. We've selected, now I hit the V hotkey, and that'll bring up this quick transform puck here, and I can move this. So maybe I want to move this over here. And if I want to create another selection, but this time start adding selections together, I can go ahead and create an ellipse selection there and one here. And then I can use the V hotkey again to bring up this puck. And now you'll see that I can move this once again. I can rotate it. We have options. So I'm going to actually rotate this. Oh, I lost my selection. Let me do that again. So there we go, and I have the selection here, and I can move it, rotate it here, scale it, do whatever I want with it. It's a fun tool. But hold on to that V hotkey so that you don't lose your selection like me. There we go. Lasso, of course, you can draw any shape you'd like. I can draw this over here and use the V hotkey to select this and move it somewhere else. Maybe I just move that off to the side. You can also subtract from your selection. So if I use the polyline, now here you can just select, select, select. There you go, we've got a selection, and if I want to add to that, I'll hit enter so that I can have one selection, and then I can add to it like this. Hit enter, and you can see we have one full selection there, and I can subtract from it as well by hitting this button here and then drawing another selection. And if you ever want to deselect, there's a couple different ways you can do that. If you draw an ellipse like this and then you want to deselect it, you can do that using Control D. That's the same hotkey for Photoshop. So if you're familiar with Photoshop, you'll be familiar with that. You can also hit this button up here to deselect. If you ever want to invert a selection, you can do that as well. So let's say I just want to select this area here, and then I decide, you know what, I actually want to select everything around it except for this box. You can hit the invert, and that's also Control-Shift-I as the hotkey for that, and then you can see that I have everything else selected and I can kind of just shift this all over. So that's how you can control that. And this magic wand has additional options you'll see here. I'm gonna put this back on add so that we can see that a little bit better. So you can see this button up here and that it changes. So right now we have the select one layer. If I click on this, you'll see that it has these two little squares there and the icon actually changes. So this is showing you how many layers you're selecting with this magic wand. So right now we're selecting from everything. So if I click here, it's sampling all the layers to create this selection you can see here. So maybe I just want to select parts of his neck and the helmet here, and then I want to color in only that section. I can go ahead and do that. I'll make a new layer here at the top. And I can just use this color that I have already in here and color this in. So it's really useful for coloring in your sketches as well, or if you're working on a render of a car or something, because it can tell where your lines are and where the color changes. And maybe I want to smudge this out a little bit. So let me click on the right tool here, the smudge. So maybe I just want to smooth out that transition a little bit, so I can go ahead and do that with the smudge tool. So you can see how this can be really fun to explore in your artwork, and it makes it really easy to select what you need. Now, it can be a little bit challenging to select the areas that you want, so there is a tolerance that you can adjust in here. So I'll go ahead and click on the selects again, and you'll see this tolerance here. So this is your tolerance for when it can sense and change in color. At what point does it select that area or not select that area with the change? So if you have this on 1, it's really only going to select that exact pixel color. But if you have it a little bit higher, and I do this again, you'll see that it selects a whole lot more. Like, it selected everything here. So it gives you quite a bit of control while working. So I find this super helpful, and you can get some pretty cool effects using some of these tools that you couldn't normally get. Maybe I just want to color in this little guy over here, part of him, so I'll go ahead and do that, just to bring more attention to him with a warmer color, because warmer colors attract the eye. So you can see how this can be really useful for a workflow, just to only select what you need. If you're interested in learning more about how 2D and traditional drawing skills can help your career, even as a 3D artist or doing any other form of design, you can check out this blog post I have and read about how it's really helped my career, to see how it can also help yours as well. If you'd like to share your art with other artists, you can check out our Discord channel. If you'd like to learn more about Sketchbook Pro, you can check out this playlist I have here going through the different tools for it. See you here next time.